So hello and thanks for joining this webinar. Yeah, we'll start in less than a minute just to wait for everyone to join. And yeah, in the meantime, let's just a couple of notes here. And actually, before I go through these notes or announcements here, can you let me know where are you calling in from? So I'm calling in from Zagreb, from Croatia, and if you let me know through a chat message or through this Q&A pane where you are from, I mean the city and the country, it would actually help me get a better feeling on where all the people are coming from. Anyway, while I'm waiting for your inputs, just two kind of announcements here. So first of all, we are recording this webinar, and so you'll be able to watch the webinar basically from the same page where you registered for the webinar. So if you registered through LinkedIn or through YouTube, you will be actually able to see the recording on the very same page. By the way, I'm seeing lots of inputs, so from UK, Switzerland, Ivory Coast, Dublin, so Ireland. Okay, great, thank you for, for letting me know where you're from. Yeah, if you joined through Zoom, then you can actually see the webinar on the same page where you registered for the webinar. Second thing, you'll be able to download the presentation deck from this webinar, and I'll tell you at the end of the webinar how to download it. So you'll be able to actually get it. Just be patient until the end of the webinar. I hope it's going to be interesting for you. So anyway, I'll tell you how to do it at the end. Okay, I see also people from Italy, from Kenya. Great, thanks. Oh, Canada, great. Thanks for letting me know. Great. Yeah, I think we can start. So welcome to this webinar, How to Sell ISO Consulting Services. My name is Dejan Kosutic and I'm the CEO at Advisera, a company that makes compliance easy to understand and simple to use. And this webinar today is streamed through Zoom and LinkedIn and YouTube, and it will last something like 50, 55, maybe 60 minutes. And I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, please do send these questions, and we'll have this Q&A session at the end of the webinar, but you don't have to wait for it. You can actually send your questions even as I go through the slides, and I'll try to answer as soon as I can. Okay, I see also someone from Belgium letting me know. Great, thank you. So it's great to have people all over the world on this webinar. Great, now let's go to the next slide. So why is this important? Well, it's important because unfortunately, I would say the reason is obvious. If you don't sell your services as a consultant, you're not going to make it. I mean, if you don't have new clients, it's not going to work. So you basically have to sell, and this selling ability to sell needs to be one of your core competencies, because without it, again, you'll be out of the business. So what I'll do, I'll present you in this webinar various techniques for promoting your consultancy services, and basically how to convert these leads into clients. And this webinar today is actually intended for smaller consultancies, mainly if you have, let's say, if you are self-employed all the way to, let's say, a couple of dozen employees. And basically what it will be actually for both beginners, so someone who is completely new to consulting business, all the way to consultants who are already pretty experienced. So I'll show you also some more advanced techniques on how to promote your business. Okay, very well. Again, this point of selling and marketing in consulting. I mean, the sad fact is, that if we can measure who will be, which consultant will be more successful, the one that knows actually about, let's say, ISO standards or whatever they're doing, will this guy be more successful, or the guy that knows actually how to sell will be more successful? Unfortunately, the other guy, the second guy, the one that actually can find more clients. This is basically, the world where we are living in. And again, if you don't have these marketing and sales skills, you're not going to succeed. So this is something that you need to keep in mind, that it's not enough to be it's not enough to excel in your consulting skills, meaning let's say your knowledge of the standards, running the projects and so on. You have to be equally good at selling. This is simply how the things are. Now, of course, this is the webinar, you know, where I'll explain how to do it. It's not as difficult as it seems. I know many people are not very happy about, you know, selling or promoting themselves, but again, it's not as difficult. So I'll show you some very useful tips on how to do it. Anyway, agenda. There are some crucial things you have to do before you start selling, and this will be the first slide. Then I'll show you how to get to the first clients, basically networking. Then I'll show you how to actually get clients in the long term, so that you basically get the leads without the need for reaching out to them. It might seem incredible, but actually it is possible. Then I'll show you some practical tips on how to use LinkedIn. This is already a little bit advanced, and how to use YouTube. This is even more advanced. Yeah, I'm showing you these things because I would say LinkedIn, you can't survive as a consultant without it. YouTube is not for everyone, but if you do it, you can actually make an even bigger and more better impact with it. So I'll show you this how it works, and of course I'll also show you how to present yourself once you do get the lead, how you present yourself and how to convert this prospect into a customer. Okay, right, now let's move on to the point before you actually start selling. So from my experience, you know, it's not enough that you have a great idea on what you want to, you know, what your consulting business should do before you actually, and you can't simply start selling it, because this is I would say a road to disaster. You first have to figure out a couple of things before, and I'll show you these things now. So first of all, you have to choose a niche, because for example, if you just say, okay, I'm an ISO 27001 consultant, and I'm going to offer these services to whomever, you know, wants these services, it's not going to work. There are already thousands of similar consultants like you. It's if you do not have a niche, if you do not differentiate, they're not. I mean, the customers are not going to pick you. There are many other consultants out there, probably more, let's say, known. And again, this is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to find your niche. Now, I'll give you an example from my own career, just to see what finding a niche actually means. So I started out a very long time ago, I'm afraid to say. But anyway, I started as a consultant 2005, when the first version of ISO 27001 was published. And I had a previous background in banking, but I also had a previous experience in managing IT projects, these kind of things. And when I got the certification for ISO 27001, then I started, actually at that time, the central bank in my country introduced very strict cybersecurity rules for the banking sector. Okay. And then what I basically did, I actually created, I would say, a consulting service where I offered to the banks to actually help them comply with these cybersecurity rules using ISO 27001. And that was actually a very good move, because other consultants in my country did not have a banking background. Okay. So I was the one to understand the banks very well. I was the one to understand cybersecurity governance very well because of ISO 27001, and I was actually able to because of this very combination, because I have chosen a niche where I had a certain advantage, a background, a knowledge. This is what actually enabled me to have, I would say, a unique selling proposition in the market. Okay, so what does this mean for you? You have to choose something where you're good at because of your prior experience, and you have to match it with something that is happening in the market. Again, for I don't know, ISO 9001, you might have a background as an engineer in let's say manufacturing of let's say chips. Okay, and then you can actually, computer chips. and you might actually have then a target market of these chips manufacturers who want to get certified against this standard, because you have a unique specific industry knowledge. So you have to choose this niche very carefully, because this is the way to differentiate between you and some other consultants. Then the next step is for you to get training and certificates. Because if I did not have a certificate, in my case this was ISO 27001 lead auditor course, if I did not have this, clients would not actually trust that I really do know what I needed to know. Then the next step is really to package these services into something that makes sense. When I say package, I mean it's very hard to actually sell a service if you're charging by hour, right? If you're simply saying, yes, I'll help you, my, rate is XYZ per hour, and we'll see how much it turns out eventually. It's not going to work. Basically, you have to say, okay, look, you have to show the value, and you have to avoid charging by hour. You should actually try to create a fixed price or the price for your whole project. Actually, I'll come to the pricing in the next steps, but I'm just trying to explain here that the concept of creating some kind of packages. So basically, in my case, 20 years ago, it was something like a package. Okay, you'll get compliant with the cybersecurity regulations by the central bank. This was basically my package that I was selling. Now, what you have to keep in mind is that there is a difference between one-time projects, like these compliance projects, and let's say on some continuous projects, like let's say doing the internal audit, let's say once a year, or doing some kind of regular training. Again, you can do this continuously, or you can do this second party audits, like supplier audits, continuously, so on. So you have to think about what kind of packages, what kind of services you want to offer for that specific target market, because of your specific niche that you have chosen based on your background, right? And by the way, this is 1 hour webinar, and of course I have to go through these slides rather quickly. Now, I also have courses on that I've recorded that actually help consultants sell their services. And one course is called a beginner's course for ISO cybersecurity and AI consultants, and it's published on YouTube. Of course, it's free, and we'll send you now this link through the chat window. So if you can open the chat window, you can see actually this link. And by the way, if you joined this webinar through Zoom or through YouTube, you'll be able to click this link. It will open right away in your browser. If you joined through LinkedIn, then for some reason, because of some limitations in LinkedIn, you can't really click this link. But the workaround for this is simply to copy the URL and paste it into your browser, and it will open. Anyway, in this beginner's course, you will actually see a series of lessons, and one of them is about how to choose a niche. Okay, the other one is how to actually, what kind of training and certificates are available. So there are separate lessons basically for each steps that I will explain in this webinar today. Okay, there is also another course. It's called, this one, the second course is for advanced consultants. This is an advanced course for experienced consultants, and you can also find the link now in the chat window. And in that advanced course, basically I present some techniques for selling to consultants who are already a couple of years in the business. And for example, in this advanced course, there is one lesson which speaks about, how to create these continuous services that are basically bringing you money every month, right? Or every year, at least once a year. So take a look at this lesson in the advanced course if you're interested in building these continuous consulting services. And of course, when you create these packages, you also need to present to your clients clear deliverables. What exactly are they getting? What kind of value are they getting? Because otherwise it's not going to be very interesting. Okay, the next thing you have to do is figure out your pricing. Again, I'm going to speak about pricing maybe a minute or two here, but there is a separate lesson in this beginner's course. So if you want to learn about details, go there for this course on my YouTube profile. Anyway, with pricing, you have to decide between market-based and value-based pricing. So market-based basically means that you are, let's say, trying to go a little bit above the market. So value-based is where you simply don't care about the market. You simply sell something that is so unique that you can really charge a very high price for it. You also have to think about, if you're doing this for the first time, if you're just starting your consultancy, you have to think about what is your initial price. My recommendation is that you do not go with the lowest price, because this is not going to be a good thing for your career. Rather, you should try to be at least on the same level with your competitors, and you can find actually your prices of your competitors. There are a couple of techniques that I explained in the beginner's course. These techniques include, checking out their website. Sometimes they're publishing, the competitors are publishing their prices on their website. You can actually ask for the price in forums like Reddit. If you ask a question there, there are good chances that you will get quite a good input about the rates for consultants. You might actually check some platforms, job platforms like Upwork, like TopTal, Clarity FM. So there are ways actually to actually check what the competitors are charging. Right, now that you have the niche, the certificates, the services, that you have a let's say appropriate price, then you can actually move on sorry, I forgot to mention one thing that you should also check out. These are the courses for consultants. So there are various lead auditor or lead implementer courses, and this is actually related to this second step on the screen, that are offered on Advisera website, and you can actually find them. So basically these courses are for any standard, so ISO 9001, 27001, and so on. Okay, great. Now let's move on to the next slide. So now actually that you have all of these things, now it's the time for you to get first clients. But before you actually reach out to potential clients, you have to identify what is the ideal client profile. And when I say ideal client profile, I don't mean the company, but I also mean the person within this company. So let's say that you are selling ISO 27001 consulting services. Let's say that you are specialized for SaaS companies, software as a service companies. Let's say up to 100 employees. Let's say that this is your focus. Now you have to figure out who is the person that you want to target within this company when you're reaching out, because you can't send emails to no one in this company. You have to choose a person, right? And let's say that the ideal person for reaching out is the CTO, Chief Technology Officer. In some cases it could be CEO, but let's say Chief Technology Officer in most cases, because these companies usually do not have security officers. It's usually you're typically targeting the main technology guy, and then you have to actually understand what are their pain points and needs, right? So the need actually might be that they need a certificate if they want to, let's say, get some new clients, right? It's very common need for such companies. And their pain points are that, they are afraid of, let's say, getting too much, bureaucracy, that this means that this will slow their operations down, that this will cost a lot of money, and so on and so forth. So you have to figure out what are their needs, what are the pain points, because these are the exactly things you have to discuss, or you have to be prepared to discuss with these people, right? So these things are crucial, because now you know exactly not only what you're selling, you know exactly whom to sell to, right? And then you can actually start networking. So you can actually reach out to your existing network, right? You probably have in your phone, in your, LinkedIn profile, wherever you have, a couple of dozen, maybe a couple of hundred contacts that you can actually reach out to. And this is something that you can do. Of course, you can also ask these contacts to recommend you to their contacts, especially if you tell them exactly what you're looking for. If you're simply telling your friend, look, please recommend me someone for my ISO 27001 consultancy. You know, your friend, even though he might be, I would say, with good intentions, you know, if you don't tell him more, it's not going to work. If you tell him, look, please, if you know someone from a small SaaS company, then it's a much more chance that actually your friend will recommend you someone. You can also go for various job sites, like I mentioned before, Upwork and Clarity and TopTal, and then there see if anyone is looking for for consultants there, because this is something that happens quite often there. And you can also publish your company in various directories. So one of the directories is also on Advisera website. Let me just show you how this looks like. Okay, so it's here. So as you can see, oh sorry, it's not the one. This is the one. So on Advisera website we have this ISO consulting directory, and basically we publish here the details of the consultants that are our partners. And this is something that if you are our partner, then we will publish you there. There is no charge for this. You can, of course, I mean, someone that is interested in these services can simply then filter out by standard, by, I don't know, country, these kind of things. Okay, at the end of the webinar, I'll explain you actually how you can become our partner and then so that we can publish you here. Yeah, we'll send you this link in the chat window. You can see this link for this marketplace. Then you should also attend industry events, right? If you're, again, targeting SaaS companies, smaller SaaS companies, then you should go for some kind of event, conference, where these specific CTOs, because you're targeting them, right? Where they attend. So this might be some conference around, you know, new technologies or whatever these CTOs are interested in, and then you can actually network there and also find some clients. Okay, now then when you actually get these contacts, you have to, you know, outreach to them, and basically there are three ways to outreach to potential prospects. One is through email, the other one is through phone, and the third one is through LinkedIn. Now I have a separate slide for LinkedIn, and I'll come to this later on, but when it comes to email and phone, especially with email, you have to be very brief. You actually have to send, I would say, rather short messages, and you can't simply say like, okay, we are offering ISO 27001 consultancy services. Are you interested? It's not going to work. It's never works. So you have to use this pain points that you learned about this specific group that you targeted. And you also have to think about the benefits. So you can say, look, I'm specialized in offering ISO 27001 consultancy services for SaaS companies. I'll help you get certified so that you can actually get new clients. And by doing this, I'll actually reduce the amount of, what did we say, the pain points were, yeah, we'll reduce the amount of bureaucracy, and I'll make sure that you do not need to, let's say, purchase any new, let's say, technology for that purpose. Now, compare this, you know, first bad email that I mentioned with the second one. Of course, you know, many more people will react to this second email. Similar thing with phone calls. Even though these phone calls might be cold calls, still, if you have this kind of a powerful short intro, it's much more likely that you will actually succeed. Okay, the same thing if you are sending a message through LinkedIn. It's very similar to email. You have to be short, but you have to be to the point. You have to pinpoint exactly the benefits, exactly the pain points and how you resolve them, and why you are so specific for this kind of a service. And of course, you have to follow up. It's not enough to send, you know, only one email, one message, and so on. Of course, you'll have to follow up after, let's say, a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. Now you shouldn't send 10 follow-up emails. It's this is the way again for a disaster. Send them 2, maybe 3, not more. And I would say more clever way to follow up is actually, and this is something that I'll explain in the next couple of slides, is that you actually build your brand as a consultant, because if they even if these prospects do not react to your first 1 or 2 emails, they actually might react later on once they recognize you as an expert, right? Once they start trusting you as a personal brand. And again, this is something that I'll explain in the next slide. And by the way, in the beginner's course, you actually have a lesson which explains, how to get these first clients in more detail. So again, I've gone through this quite quickly here, but if you want more details, go through this beginner's course. And in advanced course, I also have some the lesson which explains some more advanced techniques on how to close deals. Good. Now let's move on to getting clients in the long term. Because ultimately, reaching out to your network is going to dry up after a while. You probably don't have, I don't know, thousands of contacts. You have a couple of dozens or so, and after a while you won't have any more. But the point is, how do you actually reach a larger amount of people, and how do you actually stimulate them to contact you without actually that you have to reach out to them, right? So how do you actually get those leads without working for them? Without reaching out to each and every one to them. Now, the answer to this question is basically that you have to build your brand as an expert. Because if people actually start seeing you as an expert, then they will reach out to you directly and offer you and ask you for a quote or something like this. Now, how do you actually build a brand as an expert? I'll show you now in the couple of steps here. So first of all, you can write articles for professional magazines, right? If you are again interested in targeting SaaS companies, then you should find some professional magazine, either in print form or web form, which targets exactly these CTOs. Again, remember what I've shown you in a previous slide. And then basically publish some articles there so that these CTOs actually start reading your articles. Okay. Second, start publishing your blog, because by publishing your blog, you're actually showing to your audience that you know the stuff, right? Because the more articles you write, the better these articles are, the more these people will trust you. Let me show you now how this looks like for my blog on my website. So here are the articles that I published. Okay, you'll see many of them. Anyway, but the point is, the more you write, the more people will recognize you as an expert. Okay, let me go back to the presentation. We'll share this link also to my blog so that you can actually take a look at probably not all articles, too many of them, but some of them. Okay, then you can actually these are not like options. You should do all of these things if you want to build your brand as an expert. If you want to build your name as an expert. So you should share insights in social media. Now, when you speak about this business to business, it's LinkedIn primarily, even though I've seen, you use also Facebook, Instagram, and so on. But I would, if you want to focus on one, then this would be LinkedIn. Now, in the next slide, I'm speaking about LinkedIn, and I'll show you there how I use LinkedIn and what I post there. But the point is that you share insights, right? And that if your potential clients are seeing your profile, and when they see these insights, again, they will start trusting you. Also, you should participate in industry forums, right? So there are online forums. For example, there is one very good forum on ISO 27001 on Google Groups. There are also some forums on Reddit, some on Quora. So you should actually participate there, because people are asking questions there, and if you answer those questions properly, this might actually lead to a consulting contract. You should also deliver webinars. Now, I understand it's hard to organize a webinar with many attendees, but this is actually where you can reach out to some other company that already has, I would say, a pretty big audience, and then deliver webinars for that company. And for example, I'll show you how we do it in Advisera. Just give me a second. So here are the webinars, various webinars that we are delivering. So as you can see, this one is today, of course, but also other webinars on 9001 and various other standards. So this is one way to actually also promote. In this case, this is how we promote Advisera and Advisera as experts, but of course this is also the way for you actually how you can promote your own business. Okay, and what you can actually do is deliver courses. So it's courses are a very interesting way of not only making money, but actually promoting yourself as an expert, because people often think, if you're able to deliver a course, then you're probably very knowledgeable about it. And we also, of course, have the various courses on our website. But even if you're delivering courses in person, then very often during this delivery of, let's say that your client hired you to do only a training, once they actually, if they're satisfied with how you're actually doing this training, they might actually hire you also for some other jobs. So doing courses is also a very, very good way to get new clients, especially if you can do courses, for example, in this ISO world. Certification bodies are very often delivering courses, but you as a consultant can actually work for them and actually deliver, act as a trainer in those courses. And by doing this, you're actually opening lots of doors for potential clients. Right, now let's I'm not sure if I think I didn't mention, there is also in this beginner's course, there is also a separate lesson on how to build your expert brand. So if you want to take a look, and you can take a look at there. But building brand actually does not stop here. You can actually move it a step further and build your brand by actually building thought leadership. So I would say this is a step further in this, I would say, philosophy of building brand, where you actually push the boundaries even further. And you can actually do guest speaking, right? You can do guest speaking at conferences. You can do guest speaking at podcasts. Actually, it's much easier to get as a guest speaker as a podcast than at a conference. But I would say both of these are viable. For example, I'm not doing conferences much, but I'm doing guest speaking at podcasts. And in the last couple of months, I've done something like 3 or 4 guests. I was a guest speaker at a couple of podcasts, which also actually helps you build your, not only your personal brand, but actually puts you in a position of thought leader for a particular area. You can actually do, of course, you can speak at conferences. You can build your YouTube profile, which is also a very, very advanced, I would say, version of building your building a thought leadership. I have a separate slide on YouTube, and I'll show you this later. You can start your own podcast, because this is also a way for you to show to the world that you know your stuff. And especially if you have, let's say, some interesting content that you're delivering. Of course, with podcasts, you have to be, I would say, you need to have this continuous episodes, because if you publish only 1, 2, or 2 episodes, it's not going to happen. But if you actually have permanent or recurring episomes, this is something that will help you a lot. For example, I have this Secure and Simple podcast. It's already something like 9 months now, and it's showing very good results. There is already a very nice audience there. And this Secure and Simple podcast is specifically focused on consultants. So if you're interested in becoming a consultant, or if you're already experienced consultant, take a look. You'll find very interesting things that you can learn there. You'll see also this link in the chat window now. And finally, books. So you're not going to make lots of money on books. This is true, but this is something that will help you a lot to promote your consultancy, because people usually think that if you actually have published a book, that you have the ultimate knowledge about a topic. So books is also one option to do it. I mean, one option to build you as a thought leader. Right, now let's show you a couple of things that you can do on LinkedIn. So let me switch the screen. Okay, now on LinkedIn you basically have two options. One is to actually build that you actually build your company profile, and you should certainly do it. And basically this is where you actually show your products, your services. You publish some things about the company. But I do not think that this is the main thing that you can do on LinkedIn. It's much better actually on LinkedIn if you build your personal profile. So as you can see, as Advisera, we have something like what, about 4,000 followers. But on my personal profile, I have what, 33,000 followers. And if you want to build your personal brand, I think you should do it through a personal profile, because people, I mean, potential clients tend to trust people more than companies. Okay, of course you should build both of these, but again, in my view, you should focus on a personal profile. Anyway, I'm not going to go in detail on how to build a personal profile. You should follow. LinkedIn does suggest the various things that you should do here. So these things here, about and so on. But I would say that, of course, you have to show your experience and so on. But what I think is the most important are these posts, right? And I'll show you now all the posts. And in this post, this is where you actually show your insights. And this is where potential clients will pay the most attention to, right? So you can see here, I'm promoting this brochure for one of our products, for this training academy. Here I'm posting a short video from what I've done on YouTube. This is something around NIS2, I think. This is an article in PDF format, what is ISO 27001. This is an article that I found on the internet that would be interesting for the audience. This is a promotion of the webinar that will happen in next week, I think. This is a short video from a podcast I did with one consultant, and actually he's from US, John Berry. It's a very interesting discussion. You can actually take a look at it. Again, this is a product promotion here. So basically what you can do actually is through these posts, you can systematically raise your, I would say, profile and provide some insights to potential clients, because this is actually how they can start trusting you. And what is important is that you publish regularly. So on LinkedIn, you should publish at least a couple of times per week. Some people publish a couple of times per day. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. You might do, I don't know, 1 or 2 per day, but probably not more. Anyway, when it comes to selling, the most useful thing is this sales navigator. Now, all the things that I was showing you previously on LinkedIn actually were free. You don't have to pay anything. But if you want to actually start targeting your people, your audience, very narrowly, then you have to start paying something like, I think it's $80, so $80 per month for this LinkedIn Sales Navigator. But what actually it enables you is that you actually target your audience very precisely. So let's say that I'm interested in Chief Technology Officers, Chief Technology Officer. So let's see what it says. And then it shows me, okay, 670,000 results, but let's say that I'm interested only in, let's say, one country. Let me see, geography. It's here. Let's say that I want only, I don't know, France or Germany. Okay, so I include only Germany. Let's say that I'm interested only in headcount, let's say smaller companies, so self-employed and 1 to 10 employees. And let's say that I want to select the industry here. Let's say I want this SaaS company. So this would be something like IT services, right? Include. Okay. Now I'm already to 77 results, you see? So I came down from, I don't know, almost more than 500,000 to only 77. And now I can actually, what I can do is simply send them a message. If I'm paying this service, Sales Navigator, I can simply go here and send them a message. So I can actually message anyone. Of course, you can't do it like hundreds of them per month, but you can actually do it up to, I think, 20 or 30 or so per month. And I'm just, trying to show you here how you can actually pinpoint exactly the people who you are targeting. Of course, providing that you, first of all, identify this ideal customer profile, and then you're actually sending to this person. Now, of course, remember what I've told you, how to write these messages. It has to be very relevant for them. It has to be up to the point. But this is actually how you reach out to them. So this is a great tool to find customers. Right, now let's move back to my presentation and let's move. Yeah, you have in the link the link to my in the chat. You have a link to my profile on LinkedIn, so you can take a look at what I'm doing here. Anyway, I think I went through all of these things. Right, now let's go for YouTube. Well, I would say LinkedIn is a must for any consultant, because if you're not on LinkedIn, you are decreasing your chances drastically. If nothing else, your potential clients will actually search you on LinkedIn just to see if you're there, because if you're not there, they're probably not going to take you into account, in any way. But YouTube, it's not really for everyone. YouTube requires, I would say, time to develop. It's time consuming, much more time consuming than LinkedIn. But if you want to kind of stay and be distinguished from the crowd, then YouTube is a great thing to do. Now, first of all, what kind of videos can you actually publish? And I'll actually show you this on my profile. Just give me a second. Okay, so this is my profile on YouTube. As you can see, I have 62,000, 63,000 subscribers here. So it's what, double than what I have on LinkedIn. So already reach is here much higher. But what kind of videos do I actually publish? So I publish, videos. You can see there that I cover, various topics. 27001 NIS2. This is cybersecurity directive DORA. This is also direction, the regulation. And I have these specific videos for consultants and so on. Now, there are different types of videos that you can do. So for example, let's go for ISO 27001. If I open this, playlist here, let me just see.
You don't know how
Okay, we're not going to watch this video now, but anyway, here you can actually see a couple of, what is and how to videos. And if you have an audience that you want to target with this kind of videos, this could be a great way for you to raise your profile. So basically, explain them the basics of a particular standard or basics of whatever you're into, right? You can do these kind of things. You can also shoot videos, record videos, which actually display your product. If you have some kind of product or service, then you can also do this. So for example, here, there is a series of videos about this Conformio ISO 27001 software for smaller companies and for consultants. So again, through these videos, I'm actually explaining how this is done. Then there are videos, okay, these are courses, right? As I already mentioned a couple of times, there is this beginner's course for consultants. Let me show you very briefly how this looks like.
Welcome to the beginner's course.
Okay, right. Anyway, so you can see actually more details here. So you have several lessons here for this beginner's course. You can also do, let me see, yeah, podcasts. So as already mentioned, there is this podcast which where I'm the host. I'm displaying these videos on YouTube, but also displaying these videos, these episodes on some other platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so on. But certainly you should also do it here on YouTube. I also display upcoming live streams. As you can see here, this is the one that that we are on now, but there are also some other upcoming webinars. And so on. There are also some short videos, and so there are numerous things that you can actually do in the YouTube, and of course you have to adapt it again for your specific background, for your specific audience, for your specific knowledge, and for the specific pains that you want to touch with your clients. Now. Let me go back actually to my presentation. Okay, yeah. So these are all the types of videos. Now, topics, again, you can cover various topics, either about frameworks. You can also cover some, let's say, success stories with your clients. You can show various products. Okay, I think I already mentioned all of these. Now, what is the approach? So how do you actually approach and record these videos? What is the concept? Basically, this concept is that you start with a problem, show how this problem can be fixed, and then basically describe the next step, right? So for example, let's say that, I don't know, I want to explain, how to sell ISO consulting services. If I want to put it in one video, then I basically start with the problem. Problem is that you're a consultant, you don't have enough market. Then I show you all these steps, right? And then basically as a next step, I can say, look, you can subscribe to, I don't know, my course or something like this, where you actually start learning more and do all of these. You actually draw this client even deeper into whatever you want to do with this person. Regular publishing, it's very important on YouTube. If you publish, every now and then only one video, let's say every 2 weeks, it's not going to work. So what I do is I publish 3 videos per week, 2 or 3 per week. And this is, you have to be very regular. So again, YouTube is not for everyone, but I would say it's if you have time to invest into this, it's probably going to show the biggest effect on this thought leadership thing that you're trying to do. Okay, I have a question from Stefan. Do you still have time to do consulting services with all these commercial initiatives? Actually, Advisera is not a consulting company. So basically we are not in consulting business. What we do, we offer online products for end clients, but also for consultants. So if you're already working with us, then you know we have lots of these tools for consultants and others. So we are not in a consulting. So, but to answer your question, these commercial activities take I spend somewhere between 30 and 50% on these things. Okay, and the rest of my time, of course, goes into developing these products, managing the company, and so on. So it's time consuming, especially YouTube. So it's no doubt about it. But well, this is basically the way that I've chosen for how to promote our business. All right, now let's. Okay, we are almost out of time, so I'm going to kind of try to go more quickly through these other slides. But again, you have in these courses that I mentioned, you have lessons that actually go in more detail. There are also lessons about LinkedIn, about YouTube. So you should take a look at these lessons about LinkedIn and YouTube are in this advanced course. Okay, once you actually get the lead, then you actually have to convert this lead into a customer because they're not going to sign the agreement right away just because they've seen, I don't know, a post on LinkedIn. It's not going to work, right? And to actually be able to convert these clients, you have to do actually a research. And before you actually present your services, you have to do a research on the industry, so what industry they're in, and understand what is happening in this industry. You have to do a research on the company itself, their products, their what they are posting, these kind of things. You actually have to understand their needs. And actually, it's a very good thing if you could do. So before you actually have this main meeting where you present your services, it's actually great if you could do some kind of a discovery call and understand from their employees what are their pains and what are they trying to resolve. And once you get this input, then you prepare for the main presentation, and then you actually meet their, let's say, senior management where you present your services. It's also good to find out who is going to be present at this main meeting, because then you can actually try to figure out what will be their main, let's say, problems that you have to address. So you might have, I don't know, head of marketing from this company at this meeting, or you might have head of legal, and you have to figure out in advance what exactly they might object or what they might ask you, and then prepare these answers upfront. Of course, then you have to present in the meeting, in this main meeting, and the main idea of this main meeting is basically three things. First of all, present the problem. Second, present the solution, meaning your approach, your methodology, and present the results, what they will get out of this project, and do everything, from this perspective, the problem, solution, and results. And the proposal has to also go, let's say if this meeting went well, then this potential client will ask you to write a proposal. In the proposal, again, you focus on these three things, but you also focus on some other things like defining the roles, who will do what in the project, what is the scope. You'll have to set very transparent pricing, these kind of things. And then, yeah, of course, you have to follow up because it's not going to go very quickly. It usually takes time for a client to, let's say, accept your proposal and move on. Okay, good. Yeah, there is a separate lesson in this beginner's course for this topic. So take a look at this lesson if you want to learn more. Anyway, okay, let me jump through. We're not going to have time to go through these main concerns, so let me go now to this conclusion and then Q&A session, so that we can actually end until the top of the hour. So, to conclude here, it's as I mentioned, very often this most difficult part of a consultancy really to find clients, and again, it's not easy, but if you, I don't know, if you have some kind of a system, let's say that you're following these steps that I mentioned here, you will, increase these chances of actually doing this right, and increase, your chance, increase your new clients dramatically, I would say. So this is definitely something that you should think about, and making this, I would say, more professional. And of course, for that purpose, you can also use various Advisera tools. One of the tools on this sales and marketing side is this directory that I've shown you. And yeah, if you want actually your company, your name to be displayed in this directory, then you can schedule a call with our partner manager, and he will actually explain you how to get there. And he will also show you some other tools that you can use from Advisera. So you actually have now in the chat window, you have this link, and yeah, click this link and then you can schedule a call. Good. Yeah, let me move on now to this Q&A session. So basically, again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be glad to answer you. And while I'm waiting for your questions, just a couple of notes here. So first of all, if you want to ask me any questions directly, you'll see now my email address on the screen. So feel free to use this email address to ask any questions, and I'll try to answer within a day or two. As already mentioned, and so we have already sent you these links towards LinkedIn and YouTube. basically it's you can take a look at these profiles and study how I'm doing it, but also you can get informed about news on that I'm publishing on LinkedIn, but also these videos you can learn through these videos on YouTube, and also this Secure and Simple podcast. You might find it useful. The next thing or the next webinar that I'll have in 2 weeks time, it will be on the basics of ISO 27001 risk management. So in that webinar, I'll explain how to write the risk management methodology, how to perform risk assessment, how to perform risk treatment for ISO 27001. So if you're interested in learning about that, you can join this webinar, and you'll see the links for the upcoming webinars in the chat window. Okay, let's see some questions. A question from Don. True, all you presented, it's a generic approach for any service or solution. Is there anything particular to mention about ISO services consultancy sales, like tips and tricks from your experience that might apply in particular to this niche of services? Yes, you're right. So all of these things are not specific only for, let's say, ISO consulting. It can be used for, let's say, consulting of any other services. From my experience, what is the most important, at least, is really that you show your expertise in your particular standard. In my case, this is ISO 27001, this is NIS2 and DORA. And the more you actually dig deeper into these topics, and the more you uncover through these articles, webinars, courses, whatever, the more people will trust you. So you can actually use all these things that I mentioned, and you have to focus them on your specific, again, you're starting from your niche, you're starting from your targeted audience, and then basically presenting these topics there. There is nothing much more to it, only again, that you dig deep into the specific area where you want to focus on. This is it. It's as simple as that. Okay, right. There are also some other questions. Mark was asking, this is a question I received before the webinar, where to seek companies that require a consultant to assist them with ISO and regulatory compliance. Okay, I've already explained a couple of techniques where to reach out. Maybe one technique that I did not mention is that very often the demands for certifications actually comes from buyers, right? And basically, if you can actually connect to large companies that have lots of suppliers, and if you can make some kind of an arrangement with their purchasing department that they recommend you as their preferred consultants for their suppliers, this could actually be a very good entry into new clients. All right, now let me then move to the let me just move to the conclusion. Then, so to wrap up the webinar. So as I mentioned, this 1 hour webinar was really too short to go into all the details, and for that purpose, please do sign up for these free courses, beginners and advanced course. And yeah, regarding this PDF presentation deck, we'll publish the link for you to download this PDF presentation deck on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So this will be on the pages where you're watching the webinar now. So just stay on the same page, maybe 10 minutes after the webinar is completed, and you will see in the comment section, you will see the links to download the PDF presentation deck, and you will also see all the links, other links that we posted during the webinar, so you can see, you will see them there if you didn't manage to click any of them. If you joined the webinar through Zoom, then we will send you all these links through email. So you will get this email latest by tomorrow morning, and then you will be able to open them. And finally, you'll see a short survey. So it's very short, only 3 questions, maybe 30 seconds for you. And I would appreciate if you have time to fill this out, just to let me know how I'm doing, so that I know what I need to improve. And this would be all. Thank you very much for your participation, and I hope you have enjoyed this webinar. Have a nice day.